Hello and welcome to Ukraine in Flames, a special project by Ukraine Media Center and NGO Euroatlantic Course. My name is Victoria Zabian. If you want to know more, please subscribe our channel to stay tuned. The Russian Federation is known in the world not only for its aggressive actions, starting wars and threats with nuclear weapons, but also for its thieving nature. For centuries, Russians stole achievements from neighboring nations, attributed Russian origin to prominent cultural and historical figures, and even stole entire historical periods and attributed them to their own history. But the Russians are not ashamed of stealing of something more comprehensive and material. Today, in our episode, we will remind you what Russia managed to steal during the full-scale military invasion on Ukrainian territory. During the full-scale invasion, Russia illegally exported about 400,000 tons of grain from Ukraine. At the same time, there are still more than 1 million tons in Ukrainian warehouses in the temporarily occupied territories, but its fate has not yet been determined. First Deputy Minister of Agrarian Policy and Food Taras Vysotsky told about it. He noted that at this time of the actual occupation, according to the elevator registers, there were about 1.5 million tons of grain in these territories. At the same time, Vysotsky drew attention to the fact that the losses received by Ukrainian agriculture from the war already amount to $4.3 billion. According to him, this only proves that Russia is purposefully destroying the agricultural infrastructure of Ukraine. In continuation to Russian thieves in the agriculture sector, it is worth mentioning how the Russian military stole $5 million worth of agricultural equipment from the temporarily occupied Melitopol and sent it to Chechnya. But having traveled more than 1,100 kilometers, the occupiers could not use it because the equipment was blocked remotely. The equipment was taken away from the Agrotech dealer center. Raiders first ceased to combine harvesters, tractors, and planters, and in the following weeks, another 27 units of agricultural machinery. Thanks to the installed GPS, it was tracked that the equipment was on the farm near Grozny. Also, Russia steals water just from the North Crimean Canal. During the war, Russia stole 4 billion hryvnias worth of Dnipro water. Water intake in 50 cubic meters of water per second, and damages for its arbitrary use amount to about 4 billion hryvnias during the war. These are the data of the Ukrainian Environmental Inspection. However, Igor Khopchak, deputy head of the State Water Agency, says that these are very approximate figures. Ukrainian employees are not allowed on hydrotechnical structures. Water consumption has to be monitored only with the help of satellite images. Among the damage caused by the arbitrary use of Dnipro water, ecological and man-made consequences of the big sift. Let me remind you that on February 24, the Russian military seized the main structure of the North Crimean Canal and the Kakhovka hydroelectric power station. The Russians are also robbing museums on the temporarily occupied territories, as it was in 2014 when the most of the important historical and cultural heritage kept in Crimea ended up in the Hermitage. Today the Russians continue their thieving tradition. Russians stole Scythian gold from the Museum of Occupied Melitopol. A unique collection of the 4th century BC, museum workers hid in the safe place when the war began and the region came under the control of occupiers. Local collaborators helped the Russians to find historical values, as it is currently unknown where they took it and hid it, Melitopol Mayor Ivan Fedorov said. Archaeologists discovered it is in the Scythian mound accidentally, found by a local resident of Melitopol in 1954. At the same time, unique gold products were found in a mound, coins and jewelry, as well as Greek Scythian toriftic with the image of Achilles. These products were gifted to the Scythians from Greeks. It is considered one of the most valuable archaeological finds on the territory of Ukraine. Many representatives of the local authorities and ordinary residents from those who had to face the occupiers noted that Russian invaders were shocked by standards of living and the equipment of social infrastructure facilities, schools and hospitals in Ukraine. Therefore, the Russians loot only not homes of Ukrainians, but also export medical and educational equipment to Russia or so-called LDPR. Also, modern buses are stolen from Ukrainian cities and valuable equipment is taken from factories. The looting of Russian occupiers literally knows no bounds. In addition to material things, Russians do perhaps the most inhuman thieves imaginable. They steal Ukrainian children. According to the Office of Ukrainian Ombudsman, since the beginning of the full-scale invasion to Ukraine, Russia has taken over 1,185,000 Ukrainians to its territory, including 200,000 children. The department reported that as of the beginning of May, more than 2,000 orphans, children without status, and children deprived of parental care were taken to Russia from boarding schools and orphanages in the occupied parts of Luhansk and Donetsk regions. It is noted that some of the children are in Moscow region, some of them in Leningrad, Omsk, and Volodymyr regions, and some of them already being prepared for adoption. We cannot speculate for what purpose Russia needed Ukrainian children, because it is unlikely that the Russian Federation has already managed to solve the problem with its own orphans. But such massive forced displacement of people, Ukrainians, is undoubtedly part of the genocide of Ukrainian people. Probably harsh Russification will evade these children. The main thing that Ukraine and its international partners should do today is to return these kids. If we delve to a more detailed list of what Russia stole from Ukraine, we probably wouldn't have enough hours to list everything, but in general, I would like to say that the Russians stole from Ukrainians a peaceful sleep, also plans for life, someone's life, our spring, our summer, and also stole our fear and stole from themselves the future among civilized countries. What they cannot steal is our will to win, faith in our victory, the European choice of Ukrainians, and the support of Ukraine by our international partners. You've been watching Ukrainian Flames, a special project by Ukraine Media Center and NGO Euroatlantic Course. In description to this video, you can find the information about how personally you can help Ukraine against Russian aggression. Everything is gonna be Ukraine.